Hello viewers, how are you? Welcome to my channel Physics with Rams. So today we are going to discuss about universal law of gravitation. Before going to start this topic, those who are new to my channel, please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon so that you will get notifications regarding my channel and watch my previous videos. So let's start this topic. Universal law of gravitation. Before going to start this topic, here we consider point masses, so that we can represent the universal law of gravitation easily. Point masses separated by a distance, like this. Here the point masses are represented as m1 and m2, and they are separated by a distance of r. Then these 2 point masses experience the force, and this force is represented as force of attraction, whereas a force of attraction between these two bodies is directly proportional to product of the masses and inversely proportional to square of the distance between the two masses. Square of the distance between the two masses. Let's see the definition for this universal law of gravitation. Every particle in the universe attracts every other particle with a force. That is directly proportional to product of the masses and inversely proportional to square of the distance between them. Then here we can represent this force acts along the line joining the two particles. This force acts along the line joining the two particles. Then we can consider it as universal law of gravitation, or we can also represent it as a inverse square law. Because here the force is inversely proportional to square of the distance between the two masses, point masses. That's why we can also represent it as the inverse square law. So instead of writing these two equations, we represent a common equation, and it is represented as F is directly proportional to m1 m2 by r square. So as we remove this proportionality, the equation for force can be represented as F equals G m1 m2 by r square. This represents the equation for universal law of gravitation. As you observe this equation, F is inversely proportional to square of the distance. Based on this equation, we can represent that as the distance between the two masses increases, as r increases, then force of attraction between the two masses decreases. Force of attraction between the two masses decreases. As r decreases, force of attraction between the two masses increases. Based on the distance, we can represent this. Means as the distance increases, force decreases. As the distance decreases, force increases. Based on this, we can represent this. Observe that here we had represented F is equals to G m1 m2 by r square, where G is a gravitational constant. And the value of G is given as 6.67 into 10 to the power of minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. The value of G is given as 6.67 into 10 to the power of minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. So represent this expression in terms of G. Observe that here from this equation the G is given as F into r square. By m1 m2. This represents the expression for G. The two bodies are having a mass of 1 kg. m1 is equals to m2 is equals to 1 kg, and these two masses are separated by a distance of r, where r is equals to 1 meter. Then the g can be represented as, observe that here g is equals to f into 1 square by 1 into 1. So here we get a g is equals to f. Based on that, here we can define gravitational constant. If two 1 kg masses are separated by a distance of 1 meter, then a gravitational constant is equal to the force of attraction acting between the two. This is the definition for gravitational constant. Now we have to give the dimensional formula for gravitational constant. Observe that here g is equals to f r square by m1 m2. Then dimensional formula for force is ml t to the power of minus 2, and for r is l square. By for mass it is m into 1 m gets cancelled. So here we get m to the power of minus 1 l cube t to the power of minus 2. This is the dimensional formula for gravitational constant. Take a screenshot. We will continue. Where we had represented the value of g as 6.67 into 10 to the power of minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. Let's see some properties regarding this universal law of gravitation. The first property is the force acting between the two bodies is always attractive. The force acting between the two bodies is always attractive. There is no chance of repulsion. And the second property is the force acting between the two masses is independent of medium. It is independent of medium. And the third property is the force acting between these two masses is always conservative. It's always conservative. And the fourth property is it is a long range force. It is a long range force. Means if we consider the force is acting between the sun as well as earth, or if we consider the force acting between earth and the moon, then we can consider it as a long range force. So in this way we can represent the properties of universal. Observe that here the force is always attractive. There is no chance of repulsion. And next, it is independent of the medium. Means based on the medium, the force will not act in between the two bodies, and it is a conservative force. It is not going, means it's a action and reaction pair. The force acting between the two bodies is a action and reaction pair. Means if this body applies a force on this body, then the force will be acted by this body on this body. So based on that we can represent it as action and reaction pair. After that the force acting between these two bodies is a long range force. It's a long range force. These are the common properties we had seen in the case of this universal law of gravitation. In the case of universal law of gravitation, the force is represented as a vector quantity. It is a vector quantity, where g is represented as a universal gravitational constant. It is considered as a universal gravitational constant. Since we represent it as a universal gravitational constant, it does not change throughout the universe. It remains constant throughout the universe. We can consider this value at any place in between any two bodies when we represent the force of attraction between the two bodies. So it is not going, whereas this g is a scalar quantity. G is a scalar quantity. F is a vector quantity, G is a scalar quantity. Take a screenshot, we will continue. Now we are going to represent this Newton's law in vector form. Again, let us consider the 2 point masses m1, m2 separated by a distance of r. Then if m1 attracts m2, then the force acting between m1 and m2 is represented as F21. Force acting on m2 due to m1 is represented as F21, whereas force acting on m1 due to m2 is represented as F12. Force acting on m1 due to m2. Commonly, if we consider this F21, so this second body is represented as on by. Observe that force acting on m2 due to m1 by m1 represented as F21, and force acting on m1 by m2 is represented as F12. And here we have to represent the distance, whereas the distance from m1 to m2 is represented as r12. From m1 to m2, whereas the distance of body m1 from m2 is represented as r21. This if we consider r12, observe that distance is represented from 2. So from one particle to second particle, the distance is, so it is represented as r12 from 1 to 2. If we consider r21 from 2 to 1, in this way we can represent the position of one body with respect to another body, as well as the force acting on one body due to second body. Now we have to represent the force equation based on this distance. Then observe that F21 bar is equals to G into product of the masses m1 m2 by r square, m1 m2 by r square into, we have to represent the distance in terms of unit vector. It is represented as r12 cap. Similarly, the force acting on m1 due to m2, is represented as F12 bar, where F12 bar is equals to G m1 m2 by r square into r21 cap. This is the distance between these two bodies. So here we had represented the vector form in terms of unit vector, where we know that A cap is equals to A bar by mod of A bar, or we can represent it as A bar by A. So in the place of cap we can substitute this value. As you substitute, the force expression can be represented as F21 bar is equals to G m1 m2 by r square. We are replacing this cap with A bar by A, r12 bar by r. Then this expression can be represented as G m1 m2 by r square into r cube into r12 bar. Similarly, this expression also can be represented as G m1 m2 by, so in the place of r21 cap we can substitute r21 bar by r. Then it can be represented as r cube into r21 bar. So in this way you can represent the universal law of gravitation in vector form. Now consider two masses in a plane m1 and m2 are considered in the plane, whereas m1 is at a distance of r1. m1 is at a distance of r1 from the origin and m2 is at a distance of r2 from the origin. Then observe that from m1 to m2, here we have to represent the distance. Observe that here the distance from m1 to m2 is represented as r12, and from m2 to m1 we can represent the distance as position as r21, position as r21. Based on that, here we are going to represent vectors in this form. Whereas observe that r12 is equal to r1 minus r2. r12 equals to r1 minus r2. Based on the position, we are going to represent this expression. And the force can be represented as F21 bar. F21 bar is equal to G m1 m2 by r cube. In the place of r cube, we can substitute r1 bar minus r2 bar whole cube into r1 bar minus r2 bar. The magnitude can also be represented based on this expression. We can find the magnitude of this equation. r1 bar minus r2 bar whole cube into r1 bar minus r2 bar. And similarly, F12 force can be represented as F12 bar is equal to G m1 m2 by r cube. Observe that r21 is equal to r2 bar minus r1 bar based on this expression position way. Then r2 bar minus r1 bar whole cube into r2 bar minus r1 bar, r2 bar minus r1 bar. So these are the expressions for force in vector form. Take a screenshot, we will continue. Let's solve a problem which is asked in IIT 2020-21. After that, you are given total mass capital M. How do you divide it into two parts so that the gravitational force between them at a given distance is maximum? So here we can divide the total mass into two parts, either in terms of m by 4 or 3m by 4, or we can also divide this mass into m by 3 as well as 2m by 3, as well as we can also divide the mass in terms of 3m by 5 or 4m by 5, or we can also divide the mass in terms of m by 2 comma m by 2. We have to represent this. In what way we can divide these two masses so that the gravitational force acting between these two masses is maximum? It is a maximum. So in order to represent, we consider the force equation where F is equal to G into m1 m2 by r square, gm1 m2 by r square. Let us consider I had removed a mass of small m from the total mass capital M. Then m1 is represented as m1 equals to the remaining mass is capital M minus small m, capital M minus small, whereas m2 is equal to mass removed small m. Then m1 and m2 are represented as capital M minus small m into small m by r square. F is equal to. Now we are going to differentiate this equation with respect to mass, whereas df by dm is equal to g by r square. G by r square. Multiply this m small m with capital M. Then observe that d by dm of capital M into small m minus small m into small m, nothing but a m square, where a differentiation of force with respect to mass, it is equal to 0. Why? Because of mass will not vary with respect to force, it remains constant. So here we can represent a df by dm is equal to 0. As this value is equal to 0, we can represent the expression as 0 equals g by r square into d by dm of capital M into small m minus m square. So as we bring this g by r square towards this side, 0 into this value, it is equal to 0. So here remaining expression is d by dm into capital M into small m minus d by dm into m square is equal to 0. Now we have to differentiate. Capital M is constant, so it is not going to vary. dm by dm, it is nothing but 1 minus d by dm of m square, it can be represented as a 2m, then it is equals to 0. Observe that if you bring this 2m towards this side, here we have 2m is equals to capital M, then small m is equals to m by 2. So m2 is equals to m by 2, then m1 is equals to capital M minus small m, nothing but m minus m by 2, nothing but m by 2. So the total mass is divided into two parts as m by 2 comma m by 2, so that the gravitational force between them is maximum. Take a screenshot, we will continue. Observe the next problem. Three uniform spheres, each having mass m and radius r, are kept in such a way that each other touches the other. Each body touches the other. The magnitude of gravitational force on any sphere due to the other two is. So here we had considered three spheres which are attached to one another. Now we have to represent the gravitational force on one body due to the other two bodies. So here we consider a triangle which are joining the three centers. The force acting by this body on this body is represented as F, and the force acting by this body on this body is represented as F2. Now observe that since it has formed an equilateral triangle, we can consider the angle as 60 degrees. 60 degrees. Now we have to represent the resultant, whereas the resultant is represented based on these two spheres, nothing but at the center of the two spheres, whereas observe that here the force F1 is equal to F2 is equal to F. Why? Because the spheres are uniform. The spheres are uniform. Since the spheres are uniform, the force acting on the two other spheres will be same. Magnitude will remain same. Since it is a constant, here we consider F1 is equal to F2 is equal to F. Whereas the resultant force is represented as F suffix r equals to F cos theta by 2. Why? Because adjacent side by hypotenuse. We have to represent the resultant of these two forces, adjacent side by hypotenuse, nothing but cos theta by 2. Here theta is equal to 60 degrees. Theta equals to 60 degrees. As we substitute this value, the resultant force is given as the F into cos 60 by 2, nothing but F cos 30, and we know the value of cos 30 as root 3 by 2. So observe that F into root 3 by 2. Here we have to represent the force acting due to two bodies on the other body. Then the resultant is given based on these two forces. Then here we represent it as 2F. 2F into root 3 by 2. Observe that 2 and 2 gets cancelled. Here we get root 3F, where F is equal to G m1 m2 by r square, where m1 and m2 is equals to small m. Then F can be represented as G m square by r square. As you substitute this value, here we get a root 3 g m square by r square. This is the amount of resultant force acting due to two spheres on the third sphere. Take a screenshot. We'll continue. Now we are going to solve one more numerical. After that, the gravitational force between two bodies is if the mass of each body is doubled and the distance between them is halved, then the force between them. So here we consider two masses as m1 and m2, or we represent each mass as m. Each mass as m, and they are separated by a distance of r. Then the force acting between these two bodies is represented as F. Now here the mass has been doubled, means m1 has been increased to 2m, as well as m2 is being increased to 2m, m2, and the distance is half. The distance is being decreased, and here we consider r dash is equals to r by 2. Now we have to represent the force acting in between these two masses. Now we have to find f dash, where we know that f dash is equals g into m1 m2 by r dash square, r dash square. Then observe that f dash is equals g into mass of the first body m1 is equals to 2m, 2m into m2 is equals to 2m by r dash is nothing but r by 2 whole square, r by 2 whole square. So 2 into 2 is 4, 4 into g m into m by r square by 4. Since here we have 1 by 1 by 4, this 4 comes up, then we can represent it as 4 into 4 into g m by r square, m by r square. After that 4 into 4 is 16, then f dash is equals to 16 g small m by r square, where the force is represented, initial force F is represented as g m by r square. So in the place of g m by r square we can substitute f, then f dash is equals to 16f. F dash equals to 16f. So option is 3. Take a screenshot. I hope that you have liked my video. Please give a like to this video, share this video to your friends, and don't forget to subscribe my channel.